Hello everybody. For today's card I'm using the Stamping Bella Uptown Girl Lolly and Her Brawly image, and I stamped her with VersaFine Onyx Black ink onto the smooth side of some heavyweight watercolor paper, and I'm using my new to me Inktense pencils to color her in. So like I always do with images, I started with her skin and it looks a little green on here, but in real life it's not so bad. But that's my only drawback so far with the Inktense pencils, is there's not really any good like Caucasian skin tone kind of colors. For darker skin tones, like there's some really nice browns on that'll work really well, and that's actually what I was originally going to do, but for this image I wanted her to have a little bit lighter skin because I wanted to use a darker brown for her hair. So I didn't write down which ones I used, sorry, but yeah, because I was just grabbing them kind of at random. And I went in with a lighter brown for her hair, and then I started adding a little bit of a darker brown, and my water brush, of course, as it always tends to do when I don't want it to, was pushing out way too much water, and I just used my finger to kind of pick up the excess. But I just kind of go along, no rhyme or reason, just different areas, and start adding in the color. And the color on these, like you can see, I'm not scribbling on very much color, but once you get it wet and start pulling the color out, like, they call these Inktense for a reason. I'm really impressed with them, super happy that I got them. They're just fun. So I'll be hopefully playing with them more. But yeah, I did a little bit of yellow for her umbrella and the sunflower, and then a purple for her jacket, and then a darker purple for the like frilly edge of the umbrella. And that, you know, it's really easy to play with, and especially an image like this that's got kind of the open-ended lines and a little bit scribbly. You can just play. You don't need to be an expert. When it comes to watercoloring, I literally am no expert. Like you can see, I just scribble on the color and then start pulling it around with a water brush. It can't get any simpler. So for the little bottom area there, I just scribbled on some green and then, yeah, pulled it out with the water brush. I don't know, I need to kind of experiment more, and maybe I've got a second water brush. This is the Tim Holtz one. I really like it, but I have that problem with all my water brushes, even though I don't squeeze them when you use them, because trust me, do not squeeze them because you'll have water everywhere. But you know, sometimes they just, too much water comes out, and then other times not enough, and I can't find a happy medium with them. So I wonder if I should just give up and start using like just an actual watercolor brush in a dish of water. I don't know. But anyway, for the background, I scribbled on some of this blue and then just started pulling it around. And see, this is where it started getting drier. This is, yeah. Anyway, just started pulling around the color, and then I'd colored over every little water droplet so that, you know, more color would get out. And then I'd go back in and add a little bit more and just kind of go back and forth. And since I'm working on like actual watercolor paper, you've got a lot more leeway and give to it. So it's fun to experiment with. So yeah, once my image was done, I'm using the Basic Gray RSVP pattern paper, so that's what kind of inspired the colors for the image. And then I wanted to mat it with just a really thin piece of black cardstock, like thin border, not thin cardstock. This is heavyweight black cardstock. But people have asked a lot over the years, like, what do I use to measure? And I eyeball it. Like, I just hold the image up, kind of layer those two pieces together, see where I want it, line it up on my little Fiskars paper trimmer there, and just trim her down. That's all there is to it. If you wanted to, you could measure and then add, you know, depending on the width, I would add, you know, an extra, say, 1/8 of an inch to your measurements just to give it a little border. But for me, I literally just eyeball it. So once I've got that layered onto my black cardstock, I'm using my Making Memories Instant Setter and the ribbon slot punch tool. I don't think they make this anymore. I couldn't find it on their site. CC Designs used to sell it. They can't find it either because I did contact them. So yeah, I'm not sure. I know you can still find it like on Amazon and eBay and stuff, but if you can't find a tool like this, even just using a craft knife and cutting a line where you want to thread the ribbon through would work just as well. So I punched a hole for my ribbon, and this is my AmyR Textures ribbon, which it's been a favorite of mine for years. And it normally doesn't curl like this. That's another thing that's asked, because I store mine on those little wooden doll pins. Sometimes it curls, sometimes it doesn't. But this time I noticed as I pulled it off the pin that it had been sitting for, well, forever, and the ends had really like curled up so nicely. So when it does do that, I go with it and I work with it so that I can have longer ribbon tails and it's all curled and fancy looking, but sometimes it doesn't work that way. So yeah, when it does, it's kind of a happy coincidence. So this time it was all perfect and curled, so I left those nice long tails, and it worked perfect because this card I made for this week's Stamping Bella Friday challenge, which was to use ribbon on your card. And yeah, people have noticed lately I haven't been using ribbon. So yeah, pulled it out, used it, and it looks all fun. And then I just hand cut all the little flag ends on a couple more pieces of pattern paper and some old Stampin' Up! Taken with Teal cardstock. And then I use some tape on the back of the ribbon there. It just makes my adhesive glide smoother over it, just your basic Scotch tape. And then I matted that with a piece of So Saffron Stampin' Up! Cardstock. And just a nice yellow that really matches almost perfectly with that RSVP paper. So got that, and it's going on to my card, and this is a standard A2 card, so 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches. So this is one of the few Uptown Girls that's a bit of a smaller image that you can put onto a regular size card, because most of them are so big that you either have to make a bigger card or you just don't use the whole image. So for the inside of the card, I inked her up again with my MFT Snow Cone ink, and because I'm actually stamping in natural light for once and not late at night, it's hard to see on camera, but you can see it. I'm kind of obsessed with that lately, stamping images with the snow cone ink on the inside of cards, so you can still see it, but it's pale enough to write over. And then I'm inking up the sentiment that comes with this stamp, and I fudged it. So flip that cardstock over, and we're going to do it again. It's going to get glued down so no one's going to see. And usually I edit these things out of videos, but hey, we all make mistakes, right? So this time got it stamped properly, and then trimmed her down, and then I took the same striped paper that I used for the front of the card and used that as my background for the inside of the card, and then again just use my scissors and trim the little flag ends on these paper and pattern paper, which again, I'm obsessed with this. I use them on like every card. I either hand cut them or use, you know, my dynamics, whatever. I just like the look of it. So got the adhesive on that as well, and I don't know what I did with that pattern paper, but I totally didn't cut it right. I was shaking my head when I made this card, but as always, I was kind of in a hurry between nap times and all that stuff. And then finally, I was going to add my clear Wink of Stella to this, but I was kind of scared too, because the Wink of Stella is a liquid. I didn't want it to reactivate all of the coloring I did, and I didn't want to lose any of that detail, because I just thought I did a pretty decent job anyway. So I just grabbed my stickles and really lightly dabbed it on, and again, because of the natural light, you can't really see it too well. I think I got a decent enough picture of it anyway, but just really lightly dabbed it on for some shimmer, but again, not to go overboard and to completely cover all the detail of the watercoloring. So as always, there will be a link below to my blog post with links to all the supplies used, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks so much for watching.